guys, this is Gecko from Order 66 Gaming. Can't believe I almost just forgot the name of my own YouTube channel. And I have got a Clash Royale video. This game isn't actually out in England or America or most countries yet. I think it's out in Canada, Australia, I think some of the Nordic countries like Finland, I think that's where Supercell's based. I'm pretty sure. I couldn't tell you, to be honest, but if I had to guess. Basically what I did, I just went I created a new Apple ID, said I was from Canada. So you can call me Jefferson Arcourtois if you want, because, you know, Canada. If some of the settings in this video are not good, or if it's too loud, or if the quality of the video isn't good enough, I've only just got, like, the Lightning to HDMI adapter cable to actually record my screen. So I'm not entirely sure how good this is going to turn out, but it's going to get uploaded, whether it's crap or not, so just bear with me. Yeah, so basically this video is me, after I've stopped rambling, showing off how to set up a starting deck, how to actually get going in the game, because I know it's a bit tricky if you don't really know what you're doing. The first thing you'll want to know is how to build your deck, because ultimately this is the most important thing. There are a couple of different types of cards. You've got your tanks, like your giant and your knight. Your knight is probably your most common. You will definitely have a knight when you start off. The giant you might have. I'm not entirely sure when I picked that up. You get it fairly early on. I would say you want 1-2 tanks in your battle deck at all times. I run 2. I'll show you why later when I do a practice fight. But the knight is very good because it's so cheap, and the giant is very good because it's got so much health. If I look at this, it's got 2090 hit points, very similar to like Clash of Clans, where giants have more hit points than most troops. And then if I look at this guy's got almost 800, which compared to the giant isn't that much, but if you say compare it to one of these goblins, this guy's got 69. Funny. Right, best number ever. Right. Then you've also got your spells. I don't like spells. I run one spell, and I run a lightning spell, because it allows me to finish off towers, which is this card here. Because it does a decent amount of damage, and you can just call it in from above. In my opinion, spells are very expensive, and you should only really use them when they're absolutely necessary. So I only run one spell card in my deck. You won't start with a lightning spell. That was an epic I got from one of the rarer chests. I've only ever got one of that chest. It's called a magical chest or something. It takes like 12 hours to open. As you can see, all I've got is like 1 gold and 2 silvers. So you'd be really lucky to get that. The spell you will have, the 2 spells you will have, are the Fireball, which is a single target sort of thing, less area of effect but more damage. Basically a slightly worse version of the lightning spell, but a little bit cheaper to play. Like, it only costs 4 elixir to play as opposed to 6. And then there's the arrows, which is basically used, say if your giant's getting swamped by like minions and goblins, like the little low hit point troops. It's got a high area of effect, so it can wipe out all those enemies in one if you use it right, and it only costs 3 elixir, so I actually really like arrows. I probably should use it maybe instead of lightning spell, but I don't know. Lightning spell's the only epic I have in my deck right now. I have Skeleton Army, but I don't like it. I really don't. Another card is spawner cards. I run none of these in my deck because ultimately I think they're very overrated. All you have to do to get rid of them is pop a lightning spell on them or a fireball, and they're gone, and they also die after like 30 seconds. Some examples of these spawner cards would be like as you see here, we've got like a goblin hut here. It doesn't have, like you can see, lifetime 1 minute, so it only survives for 1 minute and that's it. It's not very good. It'll spawn 1 goblin every 4.9 seconds, mine's at level 3. Another spawner thing would be like Tombstone, that spawns skeletons. That's pretty much all I have. There's others, there's so many. You can have, basically any card can be spawned. But that's basically it for spawning cards. I personally don't put any in my deck. You also, in your deck, you want one range card. So I like the Musketeer, but most people actually go with Archers. I don't like Archers personally. I think there's only 2 of them, so you can't swarm people with them. They're cheap, yes, but I don't think their damage is good enough. They have good hit points, but 58 damage compared to the Musketeers, 132 is just, it's not even close. So I personally run Musketeer for a range troop. The range troops you need, because you get things like these minions, which are air, or a balloon, say, and you can't take them down with ground troops, and they will just peg your giants, they will peg your barbarians, they will peg your knight, and it just won't be good. So just like you need one range troop, I would say 1, you also need 1 flying troop. Well, you don't need it, but I would recommend a flying troop, because if you're playing someone who doesn't have Archers or a Musketeer in their deck, you can just drop these minions, or the balloon, or whatever air troop you have, and you can just demolish the whole base. Like, this spawns 3, and they don't have much damage or much hit points, but if nothing can hit them, they're invincible. You do have to watch out for the Archer Tower, so maybe give them a little bit of a giant in front, and then you're good. Then you want basically counters. The rest of your deck is used to counter the most common cards. So, for example, I've got a mini P.E.K.K.A. here who has 700 hit points, which is a decent amount, but 393 damage a hit, which is just insane. That can wipe out anything fast, and it's the only troop that I know of that can take out a giant in a couple of hits. It is what I do, because most people run with a giant because it has so many hit points. This thing will take you down in 6-7 hits, which seems like a lot, but for a giant that's ridiculously fast, and it's my best counter to play against a giant, because ultimately if they spend 5 elixir bringing in that giant and you only spend 4 to get rid of it with a P.E.K.K.A. and that P.E.K.K.A. doesn't die, then you can launch a counter attack and you've got the elixir advantage. Plus, like, there aren't many ways you can stop a giant now. Like, maybe drop some minions and some spear goblins around it, which is my other 2 counters here. Yeah. Spear goblins I like because they're actually ranged troops as well, so they can peg, like, the enemy's minions if you need them. But why I like these is because A, they only cost 2 elixir to drop, so you can use them to distract an enemy, but they also spawn 3 of them. So if you're coming up against a high damaged thing like a P.E.K.K.A., like if they're using a P.E.K.K.A. instead of a counter but to attack you, you can drop 3 of them around the P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. will one-hit them, but it's got to hit 3 of them. If you see what I mean. Like, they're a very clever troop to have. Some people run regular goblins, which are basically the same but with more hit points and more damage. The only thing that makes the spear goblins better, in my opinion, is that they can hit those minions, they can hit those balloons. And my last thing is the bomber, and this is just an area of effect thing, like a wall breaker in Clash of Clans, but it does area of effect and doesn't kill itself, which is the most important thing. So if they pull out like a skeleton army, or goblins, or I don't know, spear goblins, or something that has a lot of troops all in one place, you can drop like a knight and then a bomber behind it. They'll all attack the knight and the bomber will just wipe the floor with them. Okay, that's a lot of rambling. I'm gonna show you a live attack now. Hopefully I can actually win it with that deck I built. I think we should be okay. Some cards I'm quite worried about are the baby dragon, which does splash damage, which can really screw you over. Really what you need to do is play a giant or a knight with archers or a musketeer behind him to take that out. It's a really OP card. I haven't managed to get it yet. Alright, I don't know what he's going to do. Okay, so he's playing a P.E.K.K.A. I'm going to play a Musketeer. He's going to attack my tower a little bit, but that's okay, because I've got a counter attack going. That balloon doesn't. It might take my first tower, but that will be okay, because I can send that counter attack right in right now. I can send a P.E.K.K.A, a Knight, and the Musketeer all going in at once. And we'll see what you can actually do about it. Let's try to play minions. That was a poor decision, because as you can see, my Musketeer, all he's done is he's just shot them, and that's why you want that range tree, because you could pull off these attacks, and you can just get rid of their flying troops completely and utterly. Alright, so what I've done here is I've played the giant attack, so they all attack the giant. Well, I have a bomber, who then will just splash damage all the skeletons and the witch. It's just going to be right here. And I'm going to get free attack there as well. I'm going to play a knight in behind here, and I'm going to play minions, because that P.E.K.K.A cannot actually attack the minions, because it is not ranged, and then the minions can get a couple of free hits. Actually, they're going to go after that giant, which is okay, because I'm going to play this big and then they're going to all counter push, which is good, because I can play a giant here, and that's going to go for the tower. Hopefully, we can get some decent damage in here. Maybe you can get a 3-star. You won't be able to win this one 3 0, it's going to be close. Yeah, it should be a 3 0. Right, so basically, he made a lot of mistakes there, as you can tell. Like, usually it won't be that easy. You've just got to see what they play, and you've just got to counter. Wait until they played, counter their attack, wait until you've got the elixir bonus, and then go full force offensive on one side, and just push all the way through. As you can see, I got a gold chest there, which is really good. That's pretty good news, and yeah. So that was the deck I did it with. You've got your 2 tanks, just as a summary, your knight and your giant. You've got your range troop, which takes out the flying troops, which is your musketeer. You've got your spell, which could be a lightning spell, fireball, whatever you want, your preference. You want your flying troops, which I have chosen minions. And then you want your counters. So I like a P.E.K.K.A to stop giants, I like a wall breaker to stop skeleton army, and I like spear goblins to distract, and because they also they can shoot down balloons and things as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, one other thing, I would keep your average elixir cost, as you can see, that's this thing in the top right hand corner. Average elixir cost, mine's 3.9, I would keep it as low as possible, because the more cards you play, the harder you are to counter. So yeah, I would try and keep it below 4.5, I would say. If we look at these guys, this is 2 of the top guys playing each other. This is number 3 in the world, playing number 9. If you watch this, we can see you're looking at the same cards, even higher level. You're looking at spear goblins, lightning spells. Up on the red side, there's archers, which you can use spear goblins again. Really strong like options. Like these cards, that sort of deck will carry you through the whole game. Alright, thanks for watching. This will either be up on Saturday or Sunday. Make sure you come back on Monday for one of Panthers videos, and keep